Welcome to Igniting Change, Finding Your Fire, a weekly podcast with Meena Puri, an Ayurvedic practitioner and spiritual teacher who brings the ancient, time-tested wisdom of Ayurveda in this time of great upheaval and global ascension to inspire you to the next level of your spiritual evolution. She will discuss all topics related to your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you ready to be free of all suffering and soar to your heart's calling? Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well out there. I am very excited for today's show. I have a very special guest with us today. Her name is Kornelia Stephanie. I met her just a few months ago, and I can tell you that she is the embodiment of the new earth that we are talking about. She's highly inspiring. She has done some deep work, deep personal work to come to live the way, live the new teachings that she is currently living. So I would like you to tune in and welcome her into the show. So Cornelia, welcome. I'm so glad to have you.
It's wonderful to be with you, Meena. This isn't the first time I've been here.
No, we've been here together. So we are kindred soul spirits. We are soul sisters. We are friends. We have a vision together. But I really wanted my audience to get to know you. So I know that I know you through the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group app, which I'm over the moon about. But behind the app, you have a vision. You called it the new earth, the new house. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So the new earth isn't my idea by myself, right? New earth, we've all incarnated at this time on the planet to come here and to embody the new earth and to be in alignment with the new earth and to give birth to the new earth consciousness, right? We've all embodied here during this time. And our old human, the old wounded ego, the victim and the addict and the person that had the traumas, we embodied in through the storyline in our families and our lineages, whatever we came into to heal and transcend, transmute, transfigure those wounds and remember the truth of who we are. So the big vision and the big picture is, living in the new earth, living in heaven on earth, living in peace on earth, which is actually possible now for the first time ever in our ascension. And how long is the peace on earth before we actually see it materialized in our outer world? How long is it going to take? I don't know. 10 more years? I don't know, but I know we're getting there.
The process is starting.
Exactly. We're evolving to it. And it really had to do with first those of us that have been working on the ascension timeline and during the last decade in earnest of really releasing our own trauma, learning to become women again, learning to bring the divine into the present moment, into the 0 point energy, source God, into that moment, learning how to do that again, and then building upon that. And so we know that the earth is ascending to a higher vibrational way of living and being from the third dimension to a fifth dimensional consciousness that where peace lives, where love lives, where we honor each other. And so that's the embodiment of the new earth. But first we had to transcend the war.
The old,
the old within our own consciousness, right?
So exactly. So you talked about, the personal healing and the personal evolution. So it's an inner ascension before we can align with the earth's ascension. And that's where the symptoms and all the struggle is coming from, because we're not lined up.
Right.
And I think this process, and I know COVID catalyzed it, but I think the seeds had been planted long time before.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe not a lot of us were aware of it or awake to it, but I think this process started sometimes like in 2012, and we were still kind of really, ignoring it. It's in front of us. We were ignoring it, and then the COVID really catalyzed.
I think COVID catalyzed. I don't think we were ignoring it, Mina. I think we were living it, because I know that you and your Ayurvedic Healing Center and lots of the other spiritual light warriors that have been kicking ass and taking names over the last decade.
Yeah.
We've been working and holding the line for a long time. It is only that COVID woke up the next wave of sleepers.
Next wave. And I think is when I talk about we talk about more collectively. More and more people woke up to it after during the pandemic. And so it really is the first time in ever human history that we have this happening. So, this is the lifetime to heal the wounds of all the lifetimes. This is the time. And if we're lucky to be living through these times, but it's also comes with a responsibility. We cannot be sleepwalking during this lifetime. We have to be awakened to what's being asked of us. So in that way, each one of us is a way shower. And I know that your journey, I know about your book, Peace, the flip side of anger, how I healed my emotions and how you can too. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the book is, this is the cover of the book, okay? Peace, the flip side to anger. And the book first was called Peace is an Inside Job. That was the first title of the book.
Okay.
Was Peace is an Inside Job. And then when I ran into a friend at the post office and I was explaining to him that I'm in the process of writing and publishing the book, Peace is an Inside Job, but first we have to access the war consciousness within
the
our
other side of it. Yeah.
Anger, right? We had to first contact, and he goes, "Oh, you mean peace, the flip side to anger?" And I said, "Oh my,
that's the title."
That's the title. So I changed the title, but also the subtitle is how I use my emotions to heal my life and my body, and how you can too, using the power of our emotions, because it is in us becoming emotionally mature, emotionally honest, and emotionally neutral. That is then when we have healed the past.
Exactly. The emotional intelligence that we've had the emotions, we just haven't learned what to do with this. So gaining the emotional maturity, the intelligence, is the wisdom to the emotions, right? When we understand what to do with them. So that's beautiful. And I think it's so applicable. Your book, I mean, you wrote it before the time, but it's so applicable.
My book was published in 2015, and I wrote the book in 2014. And that was also a divine appointment, because when I asked Source, when I asked God, why, Mina, why do we still have war? Because I could not understand, like, what is it about our humanity that is still, we're evolving, we're conscious. And if we do know what to do with our emotions, because I know that was all part of it, but just like Einstein's quote, that we can't change something, and expect, if we're going to approach it from the same level of consciousness and expect
the problem. Yeah, exactly.
Expect different results, right? So when I was asking out of curiosity, why is it that we are still harming each other and hurting each other and killing each other on this planet? I said, God, please show me. Show me why that is. I need to know why, because I don't understand why we still have so much violence and harm on this planet. And this was one of the reasons, I grew up in a violent environment, and I was around violence all of my life. And so now, at this stage in my awakening, this was the question. So that's when I asked, and what I was shown, I was then taken into, because this is how my spiritual journey unfolded, as being a mystic. of being the student of the mystical experience,
Mystery, yeah.
right? So I was then taken into a 6-month experience of, the having an experience of why people act out on their emotions. And I was already doing the emotional work, emotional healing modality that I had already developed in 2011 and 2012 and 2013. I was already working with clients in my own emotional body at that time. But when I asked this specific question, why do we still have war on the planet? I was then taking in to have the world mirror to me my own anger inside. Because basically what happened was, Mina, I was shown when I was in some very challenging situations where normally if you felt 1,000 inner bullets go off in your body and you became so pissed off, how would you then respond? Would you respond with the same way that Einstein was talking about, that same consciousness, or are you going to respond differently from a place of love and from a place of wisdom? So I was placed in those situations because I asked, I want to know
you
why.
asked and you got the answer in a way that you didn't imagine.
Right. And so that's when I discovered firsthand that I was put in contact with my own victim and with my own anger, and that we can't actually be peace activists and be walking around talking about being in peace if we still have not accessed the anger within our own being. And anger is a wonderful emotion, because anger is, underneath the anger, there's always a truth that is waiting to be claimed, because as long as we won't harm anyone with our anger, but we get it out of our body, because the anger has to move, which is the reason why when people pick up a gun or take their fist and go like this, it's because
it feels better for a moment.
And the anger has to move. It has to come out.
It has to come out.
Has to move.
It has to move.
And once the anger is out, then if you allow 24 hours to just kind of be with it, and then next thing you know, you're going to start.
Another layer shows up. You're going to start
crying. You're going to start crying. And then the feminine is going to be like, I'm hurting. I'm, because like what is underneath there. And what we're going to discover underneath there is that because the reason I was angry is because I felt powerless, because you didn't listen to me, because I was devalued, or because I wasn't heard, or because I don't have a place of belonging, or because I don't fit in this world. That was all the emotion that was suppressed in the physical body from the cell memory and the trauma from the past. Was brought up through the mystical experience.
Absolutely. And it's always, underneath all of it, we all want to be seen, heard, and valued. And when we don't get that, little by little, I think I write in my second book that you may have read, that little by little, we let go of this, we let go of that, a little irritation here, a little anger there, a little feeling bad there. We don't take time to tune into it. And these small, seemingly insignificant emotions, they actually turn into something like a volcanic, powerful, because we continue to ignore them. And, then they take the form of anger, because it's easier to say, it takes a great strength to say, I'm hurting, I need love. It's easier to say, I'm just pissed off. That's a first step. That's a mobilizer. So I always say, anger is a great disguiser and a great mobilizer. It's just the tip of the iceberg. And many of us in the work, we kind of stop at the anger, or we feel bad about the anger, or we use the anger inappropriately, which harms others. Then it spirals us downward into all kinds of emotions of guilt. And we never really get deep into that one emotion. We've just added on so many other things to it. And now we like the anger remains hidden. It remains undiscovered, unexplored, and we just continue to accumulate it. The truth is, we have not learned to tune into the inner cues. We don't take time to tune into, what did I just feel there? What is that feeling sense? How am I feeling? Should I do this? Should I not do this? What did I experience in that interaction with my family member or with a friend? we just so quickly talk ourselves out of feeling what we're feeling, rationalize ourselves out of it, and just get busy in doing life. That's why any daily spiritual practice, whether it's journaling or meditating or reflecting, whatever it is that you do, it is so important to take that little time to yourself. So you kind of reorient yourself to your true north, to your true self, as to, is everything lined up here? And it seems like a big deal because we're not accustomed to doing it, but it actually can take a very small amount of time and just a lot of awareness. Awareness doesn't take any longer than unawareness. It just being aware of it and then just tuning into it. So this is the earth that we are entering. And I know that, and I love that. I love that you and I can have this conversation and we are so aligned. And what I absolutely loved is the KS Media Group app, which you just went ahead and you called it the new earth, the new house. Like, what is your vision behind that app? And it's so much stronger and bigger than the app I know.
Well, right, the app is a platform where all of the new earth, new leading world's best practitioners can all gather in one place where we can talk about our whys and what it is that we are sharing, the gifts that we're sharing, and in community, because we have meetings, weekly meetings where we come together and we just get better and better and better. Also in group energy, harmonizing group energy, activating each other and really supporting each other.
Yeah.
Supporting each other to become the best speakers, to become the best artists, to become the best healers, and put our offers on the table to where the right clients, the right wonderful clients are magnetized to us because it's clear and we're clear.
Yeah.
So that's one part. And then the other part is we have the universal question that is an opportunity for you, the listener, to come into the app and go and start self-discovery with yourself. Every week we give you the journal prompts. I'm a massive fan. I have two notebooks, one here, and and then there's my nice one, my private one, where I'm always journaling my world into being, because I'm always curious in what my inner wheelhouse, what my inner storehouse, what my inner soul wants to communicate, because that's the cultivation on where I have built my world. On the inside. And, that takes practice and it takes courage to start there. But once you start there, that's how you can heal yourself, by acknowledging, I'm angry, I'm feeling low today, and this is the reason why. I need to have a conversation with so-and-so and so-and-so about this, and here's what. And what else are you feeling? What else is it that you're desiring? What else do you want to bring into? So the universal question is an opportunity for you to come into the app and use the app every day as an opportunity for you to use the journal and go deeper, where you can answer your questions. You can answer the question privately in your own journal and use that. And so the vision for that is to be the house, and really between you and I and your audience here is the house of God.
I love that.
It's the house of God. It's the new house, because it's everything unconditional love. It's everything new earth.
It's everything 5D. And the fact that, app is just a tool. App is just an avenue, but the message is much deeper. The message is much needed for our time today. And, if you're listening to this, there are two things that you can do. Number one, go to the App Store and download KS Media Group app. It's also in Google Play. And it's one of those, I know we have a lot of stuff on our cell phones, but I can tell you that it probably will be one of the most useful apps that you will have on your phone. And the truth is, technology is here to stay. And this is what we have in front of us is very sophisticated technology. So in order to use the sophisticated technology, the user also has to be sophisticated. How do you become sophisticated? In your intent. What is it that you're wanting to do? And it's, if your intent is really clear in you using anything behind the technology, then the technology becomes a marvelous, most wonderful tool. So go ahead and download that app if this speaks to you. And second thing you can begin to do, like Cornelia just showed you a book. I am such a big proponent of journaling. I have, just like you, I have notebooks everywhere. Sometimes I get like, so I'm like, oh my God, is this ever going to end? Because I'm downloading, information is always coming in, then I'm clearing it up. So in clear words, you know what that does? When you put something on the paper, instead of that same thing bugging you inside and you can't see clearly what it is, you now put it in front of you. So you created a little bit of a distance between you and what it is that you are feeling. That provides clarity. That provides clarity. In that clarity is when you're going to know, oh, I see. Then you know the right course of action. So go ahead and get a notebook and write, just take 5 minutes. What am I feeling? Nobody's seeing that book anyways. It's between you and you. How am I feeling? What's going on? And you don't have to have any answers. The answers are in the ability to hang out in the question. Most of the time I have a lot of questions. It's like, what, where, how? I don't know. You feel out of source. You're like, I don't know what this is, but this is bugging me. This is like, what is this? What is it that I'm feeling? What's the texture and the taste of it? So you kind of hang in the question, and that's the spiritual path. That's the path of ascension. This is the path of healing and awakening. It's not about, this. Look, we've been addicted to being comfortable. On my last day, it's not going to be about, oh yeah, I was really comfortable. It's going to be about, did I wake up? Did I wake up to my heart's desire? Did I do what I came here to do? Did I show up for myself fully? And that path sometimes is simply not comfortable. And, it's not comfortable. Cornelia knows this. Her and I talk back and forth. So you have to be willing to be uncomfortable, because there's a soul's calling that is much bigger. That kind of a joy, that kind of a satisfaction, it does not come from, being comfortable. Being comfortable is nice.
Mina, the reason why we have been in the dilemma and in the problem that we're in is because we've been too comfortable.
We've been to, exactly.
Basically, COVID pushed us out of the comfort zone, right? To really what's happening in the world right now, all the different things are pushing us out. And why? Because evolution is inherently unfamiliar.
Exactly.
And so, it is unfamiliar. And whenever you're starting something brand new, a brand new cycle, a brand new era, a brand new beginning, a brand new way of living and being, we're starting that now in the midst of all of the other things that are not sustainable. So that's uncomfortable because we're not certain, but that's the reason why we had to develop our spirituality and bringing first strong faith back into what it is that we believe in, and that spiritual foundation. I heard you say earlier about the you mentioned the religion and the guilt, the guilt. And that was all part of that old programming.
My gosh.
The guilt, because this is all religious programming that has kept us separate from our unity. Because the truth is that we are not separate from God, because we are already at one, and it is only our consciousness that has been separate from it, because we've never really remembered that we are one.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautifully said. So, another thing that, let's look at the what's happening in the external as an example to talk about this, what the ascension process is and how it can look like. So, what's happening in the world right now is those, the freedom convoys. And, I know that triggered me. That triggered me because it triggered me because I thought, oh my God, people have to fight so hard for something that was theirs to begin with.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then you're also in the middle of it too. So not only, and you're a feeler, Mina. Mm-hmm. So all the energy fields of the collective energy that you're feeling there, you're also feeling everyone
else's energy. Exactly.
Processing. So you're also feeling that. But I really, really appreciate this moment in history with the truckers, because they are that movement happened organically. They didn't plan we're going to come together, we're going to do this, but they are claiming their power back, because we know that we had given, as a society, had given our power away to our government for a long time, and that they were standing up for what they felt was right. And I want to look at that as a movement, because I want to note this in the future, in like 50 years from now, or maybe 75 years from now, this moment in time with the truckers doing that, those images.
It's a freedom movement.
It's a freedom movement. And when did we have that before? The last one we had was with Martin Luther King, which, again, that wasn't a comfortable time. And that was a movement that took place, and where Martin Luther and his entourage and his, people were standing up for the change and the evolution that they wanted humanity, God's will, to wake up to. And so thankfully that time, and now thankfully to the truckers. And I thought about this because, the truckers, what they're doing and how they're standing up for what they believe in is no different than, there is a spiritual war going on this planet for a long time, and has been going on. And now it's between good and evil. And
it really is. Yeah.
And here's the thing, that, when people are fighting in the military they're fighting the war, and they're having to fight for their freedom, and or possibly the women's suffrage movement in the 1900s or in the late 1800s, where women were fighting for their right to vote. That was 100 years ago, right? Where we were claiming this into being. And now, as a humanity, as sovereign beings, we are really evolving and
evolving up.
So these truckers, this is a movement. And I applaud them from the soul of my being, because that is creating change, a ripple effect all over the place of this movement. The other thing that they're doing it in a peaceful way.
I know. It's just, honestly, I could not support them anymore. And you're correct. It was an organic thing, because the intention was really pure. Then something else happened. Something else happens, something bigger happens. You know why? When the intention is aligned with God's will.
Yeah.
And when the intention is aligned, and all of a sudden there's truckers, this convoy is happening all over Europe, it's happening all over Canada, now it's going to happen all over US. So it's bigger than the vaccine. It's about the idea. It's about what has been happening in society for such a long time. And yes, and I said, nothing, it cannot get any more spiritual than that. You know why? They're steadfast. They are in their sovereignty. They are not deviating. They're not getting caught up in the drama, even though, media has all kinds of stuff to say about that. But they're standing in the truth. They're standing in the truth. They're lined up with what's coming, and they are getting support from that which is bigger, because their intention is pure.
I'm praying for them.
Yeah, me too.
And I continuously keep thanking and blessing that situation. There's an inner joy that's happening for me that they're doing that. The thing that's really hard is because it's freaking freezing out there.
I've been saying, I hope, God, please bring warmer weather. Please bring something warmer weather for them. And and here's the thing, what happens when there's such a divide, when here's the truckers and here's the government, holding their false, whatever they're holding on to, the ego. So how I look at it. So, again, light and dark.
Yeah.
It's all part of the light. Fear is part of love. So when I go ahead and I support the truckers, I pray for the weather, I just send them love. What I want to do is send love to no matter what, because how the dark will disappear is when we show it love. It's not about the person. It's about the energies. It's about the darker energies and the lighter energies. So when we open the energy of love, open our heart to the fear, the lower vibration energy, we are showing them love. So we want darkness to disappear. And the way to do it is to offer your love, even when there's an ego show going on. It doesn't matter, because it's all part of it. It's all part of love. Right.
Well, and honestly, if it wasn't for the dark,
yeah,
that's how we realize ourselves. I mean, that's
exactly.
the biggest lesson right there. And and if it wasn't for the dark, that's how we're evolving.
Yeah.
And yes, and allowing ourselves to love and bring love to the present moment, to bring love to what is here, and to give it the space and the time that it needs to evolve.
It needs to evolve. Exactly. Yeah. So that's a way to look at it. Not that we, we support what we support. We line up with what we line up with, but holding no judgment against there's what we don't line up with, because you know what, honestly, we don't have to worry about it. It's not gonna stick. You know why? Because the universal support is always for the light. It's not gonna stick. So, but like you said, you have to give it the time and space.
We have to give it the time and space. And think about it. I mean, this had to come really to the most ridiculous time where when will the people stand up and really claim their power, being told, what they can live and what they can't live, and all the different. I mean, it's really hard. And so the whole 18-wheeler thing, the truckers, that's like a.
I mean, it's just what a perfect setup. I will never forget this movement.
Yes.
It had just started. I don't know how long it's going to go on for, but it's unreal to have this. We're watching this on world stage.
So this is a moment in history to be able to.
Yes, a moment in history. Yeah.
Oh, wow. When did it really change? Well, we can actually say it changed during the time of COVID, and I'll bring the astrology into it, that it was on January of 2020. It was Capricorn, Pluto, and Saturn conjunction coming together.
Head on.
And then by March, everything started unfolding. And so that the next wave of awakening can happen, and people can start looking, oh my gosh, why am I here? What's my purpose? I've been chasing around like a robot, and what is it that I really want to do? And now you have the time to do it. And, those were the things, right?
Actually, yeah. You know what I also love? You never see such a clear divide. It's like a division in thought.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, why does this happen? So I think the reason why it happens, when we separate it, so we can see it clearly, so we can see the light, we can see the dark. If we do not separate them, there's a confusion. There's what, where, how? And that's the answer I came to. I go, why is such a clear division when we are really supposed to be one? Well, so we can understand.
Yeah. So we can understand. Also choose again, where do you want to live?
Yeah.
Where's the place that's going to offer you more integrity, more unity, more love?
Yeah. And I think that's why it's clear, because we do have to choose. We do. It's not about, it's not about, neutral, bow your head down. No, we have to stand for something. If we do not stand for something, we stand for nothing. What do we stand for? What are we going to stand for? So we do have to take a stand when it's so universally godly aligned, when it's so needed, when those truckers who are fighting for our freedom, when I'm sitting here cozily in my home in the cold weather.
Not just the truckers that are fighting for your freedom, but also that the people of the military in different countries have been
different countries. So many people.
Martin Luther King was fighting for our freedom.
Yeah.
Or like the women's suffrage movement that brought into the women to have the right to vote. For me, even the idea that women didn't have the right to vote just makes me want to throw up.
I know. Honestly, that's how I was when I first saw the movement and I started to see some of the videos. I was so angry. I'm like, how dare you? I was pissed because, and that's the, anger, flip side of, peace, flip side of anger. I felt the anger in my bones. If I felt like if they were like, marching somewhere here, I would be running with crock pots of food for them. I cried at nighttime because I thought, oh my God, these people are standing in the cold. And
I know.
It just like my heart just went out for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, how can this happen? We really saw clearly the division of thought, the division of dark and light, because we need the clear seeing, right? We need the clear seeing.
But look at also, we can see that. And look at also the sacrifice that these truckers have made, because a lot of them are independent. And, like my brother is a trucker. I haven't even talked to him at all yet because he's out of Florida. But I don't know. But he has his own trucking company. But a lot of these truckers, they're on their own. So they are not making money. But doing that. And so in the midst of survival energy, in the midst of that, what are they standing up for? What has more power? They have a faith that's a lot stronger and greater.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and not only that, but I mean, you can go into the store and you can see the shelves that have been emptied and that are not there. And those truckers that have been feeding us for all of those years, they were good enough.
We're not even realizing. Yeah. We're not even realizing.
Flipping over themselves to, thank you for, what you do.
I know. So I think this is history being made.
Yeah.
This is history being made, and I still shake my head. It's like, I cannot believe we're living through this time. But
the other thing, that I wanted to say, Meena, is that the company of heaven, like our company of heaven, our guides, our ascended masters, our angels, the cosmos, everyone is so ridiculously, I use that word in my humanity as a good word, ridiculously proud of us, of how far we've come as an evolution, and what an amazing, fabulous job we are doing here in the universe, here on this planet, helping this planet ascend as we are ascending with it, taking our physical bodies up into higher vibrational ways of living and being. And what a fabulous job we're doing, because this is the first time this has ever been done with this level of awareness.
Exactly.
And so we're doing well done you, well done you, well done you.
Well done you. Yeah. You know what? Thank you for saying that. It's really funny. Just a couple of days ago, I don't know how I was saying, I went out in my balcony and I'm like, angels, pursue me.
Oh, that's good.
Like, spirit, pursue me. God, pursue me.
Oh, that's good.
Pursue me. Tell me where to go. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to do it.
Yes.
Show me, guide me. I'm here. And we do have that support. And I feel that more and more and more every day. And I think, like, I love that you said, well done you, well done you. All of us are doing well. All of us are doing the best we know how.
You had Dr. Bob Saul on your podcast.
I did.
Who's also a founding member of our group. And, he said it right with, I am the solution. I am the problem, and I am the resource.
The resource.
We are the problem. We are the solution, and we are the resource.
Yeah, I think this is the message of these times, ascending times. This is the message. It's all in here. Universe is in here, right? We don't live in the consciousness. Consciousness lives within us. So it's the depths of our inner depths are, they are uncharted territory for many. But that's the terrain that we have to go through to find the answer. So thank you so much. And so your book is available on Amazon.
book is available on Amazon. You can always find me in the KS Media Group app. And you can also find me on YouTube, where I've got over almost 400 videos there of Living on Earth consciousness that is shared for anyone that wants to learn and grow with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kornelia. It's been really an absolute honor for me to be in your company and for me to really know you. I say that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. You have the information to how to get hold of Kornelia, and be well until I see you next time. Thank you for listening to Igniting Change, Finding Your Fire. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and we look forward to being with you next week.